Did you hear, and I want to hear your thoughts on it, that my second favorite politician, I forget the guy's name, I'm so sorry, he introduced a bill in the state legislature for Texas to become an independent country. And it's
that was like, we're like the last state to give in, right?
Texas was?
I think if you go back and look at Texas's what it really originally was, it was like a republic.
Right, the Republic of Texas. Yeah, and there's still a house where the ambassador owned.
What year did it become a state?
Oh, I don't know. It's got to be like 1830s or 40s, I would guess.
I think there was a lot of people that were super skeptical about joining the Union.
Not too shabby.
1845.
Yeah.
The 28th state.
So for 9 years, it was its own country.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy.
But, I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a stupid idea.
Why? I'm all for it. I think it's the best idea.
Becoming another country?
Oh, yeah.
And then we get invaded.
Why? By who?
By the rest of the country.
If
you don't want to be apart from all these maniacs. You don't want to be in another country than people that live in Oklahoma. Listen, they hate each other enough about football. Do you know how bad they'd hate each other if Texas was another country?
There's lots
and you needed a passport to get in?
There's lots of countries I hate right now. I'm not interested in invading them.
Well, look at Ukraine and look at Russia, right next to each other. Well, what do you don't think that there's a possibility in the future, like maybe 100 years from now, if Texas becomes a country that like New Mexico doesn't just invade us?
Wait, but the concern is that right now Washington's going to invade us.
Right now?
Yes.
If we stay?
Yes.
In what way?
Meaning if Texas or Florida or any of these other states becomes too defiant, or if it's the other way around, if you have a Republican administration and some leftist state decides to be like, we're not going to be enforcing borders or immigration rules, someone might send in the feds. And they talk about it all. In fact, just Governor Abbott had to stand up to Biden and make this bill, or I don't remember what exactly it was, but just insisting that the National Guard's answerable to him and not to the president. I know this is a bill in New Hampshire as well, I think, called like Save the Guard, something like that.
Well, that's why states' rights are important.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier to not have to worry about D.C. than to expect D.C. to lessen their power.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think we should be moving towards a better country.
Yeah, that's what the Republic of Texas would be.
But I think together, collectively.
Yeah, us Texans.
You're hilarious.
It's true. I could not be more for this.
I don't want to have a passport if I need to go to Philly.
So don't go to Philly.
I'm going to Philly.
But you have a passport.
I do shows.
You have a passport.
Yeah, but I don't want to use that every time I fly
What's
to
the difference?
New Hampshire. That's stupid.
Well, you have to show ID anyway at the airport.
I like America, being America. I think we just need to figure out why we're in these ideological rifts that are so fucking polarizing and rabid. I think we need to figure that out. I think that's possible. Just like I think the hippie movement came out of nowhere in the 50s, I think there's a radical, rational centrist movement that could come about today. I really do. I think there's enough people like you and I that just think this is bananas. This subscribing to one predetermined pattern of behavior and fucking rules of thought. And the other one is like polar opposite of it. And you could switch, but you can only switch once.
Well, yeah, that's perfect. So you have Texas, and you have I don't give a fuck, and you could have your choice. Do you think this is impossible? It's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's impossible. I think if something really horrible happened, it could happen.
Yeah, I'm
something went down.
I'm thinking of Nigel Farage when he was on the floor of the EU when Brexit was executed, and he said, "When I came here 17 years ago, you all laughed at me. You're not laughing now, are you?" So
17 years from now, you could be correct.
Yeah, it's officially part of the Texas Republican state. Their bill.
There's a bunch of things.
Platform.
With all due respect for Texans, there's a bunch of things that I don't know if you give Texans the right to vote on.
Oh, I don't know that we're going to be a democracy once Texas becomes free.
There's some wild people living in this state.
Women's suffrage is going to be a question.
No, I don't think that'll be a problem. I mean, they had Ann Richardson was the governor.
Ann Richardson, yeah, but that was over 20 years ago.
She was a different kind of Democrat, though.
She wasn't.
Yeah, she was.
How?
She was different than the ones you get today. It was like pre-woke.
Yeah, that's true. She was different than
pre-woke
today.
Democrat.
Yes. She was a sassy broad.
Yeah, and she was like a strong woman. Like she was, you can't be like a wimp.
Yeah, but she got her ass handed to her by George W. Bush.
George W. Bush back then was not bad. there's a misconception. If you go and listen to George W. Bush's speeches when he was running for governor,
Sure.
and then look at I don't know what happened to him, but something happened to his ability to speak well.
So people forget this. In 2000, he debated Al Gore, who was a senator for many years, very articulate, very bright man, and he won, or at least held his own in those debates. 4 years later with John Kerry, he wasn't speaking complete sentences. Poland.
Do you think that he ran a ruse on us?
A ruse?
Yeah.
This guy ran a ruse on us?
This man ran a hustle upon us. Do you think that maybe that's what he did?
How so?
Maybe just played dumb? Like he
I
got
think
too heavy. I'm going to hand this fucking torch over to Cheney. I'm going to be over here painting.
I think he's clearly a lot smarter than he let on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he leaned into this kind of like good old boy crap. But I also...
Like Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
That kind of deal.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just very excited.
Larry's name is Dan.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's a hilarious comic. Dan Whitney.
He follows me on Twitter.
Larry's a great guy.
It's a character.
It's a character, and he's a funny joke writer. He's a funny guy. He's got some good jokes.
I'm sitting here. I got Alex yesterday to endorse the idea.
You have an idea of leaving Texas?
No,
of leaving
Texas reasserting sovereignty, yeah. And I think it's going to happen.
Well,
and here's the other reason why I think it's going to happen.
You can talk a lot of people into it.
If it was 2014 and I came into this room and I said, which is more likely? Texas is going to declare its independence or Donald Trump's going to be our next president, everyone listening to this would put their money on Texas and they'd be right to do it.
I don't know. When Trump ran for president, I joked about it on my Netflix special in 2016 before the election. People were laughing at the idea. I'm like, he can win.
Yeah, of course. Any candidate. This is the other thing that drives me crazy. Either nominee can win. The idea that like Kamala Harris can't win or Biden can't win or Trump can't win, you're crazy. If you have one of the two parties behind you, you have a fighting chance, period.
Yeah, I was saying that I hoped Hillary can win. I hoped Hillary won because I wanted them to have a woman president so they could say, oh, women suck at this too. Everybody sucks at that job.
Julia Louis...
no woman's going to do a great job. No man's going to do a great job. They all suck.
Louis Dreyfus was tweeting about how, like, oh, democracy is great. You should go out and vote. And I just replied to her. I go, you won several Emmys for showing for years that politicians are sociopaths. That was your character. She blocked me instantly.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? No, that's only the character.
Yeah, it's not real life.
In real life,
everyone's kind and they look out for the average person.
Yeah, and people just fucking hang themselves 30 miles from their home, and shoot themselves in the chest, and they find no weapon, but they declare it a suicide. Whatever.